All right, I am here with Ashley Ikner. Finally, we get to say this. You have a fight. Ashley, tell us about what we got coming up.
Yep, so super excited about this. On March 3rd, I'll be fighting down at the Cotton Eye Joe in Knoxville, Tennessee. Super hyped about my fight. Really excited to just finally get in there after training for a while.
So, for the people that don't know your background, Ashley, tell us how you got into the sport of wrestling, which is like a sport that really built you in life. Have you been a competitor your whole life? Did you play other sports? Just tell us a little bit about the background.
Yeah, of course. So I've pretty much played sports my whole life. When I was little, did the soccer thing, played basketball forever, did volleyball and softball for a while in like middle and high school. And then I finally started wrestling my junior year of high school on the boys' high school team at North Farmington. It was kind of super random how I got into that. Kind of just got pulled in by one of the team captains after I stopped playing basketball. And pretty much immediately fell in love with it. So I wrestled 2 years in high school against the guys, and then competed for 4 years in college at University of the Cumberlands.
What was it about wrestling that made you fall in love with it? Because it's a sport that obviously is now much more popular with women.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like there was very few women in it because of that reason that they had to wrestle against the men. You walked into the men's wrestling room and fell in love with it. Why?
I think I really fell in love with it just because like it challenged me like nothing else has ever really challenged me in my life. And I realized to do well in wrestling, I was gonna have to become more elite in my life, like just completely well-rounded. And I really liked having that push.
So right before we talk about the fight in a little bit more detail, tell us about your normal day and normal life. Like when I found out what you did for a job, I was blown away. I was like, that is so epic. And I want the whole company to know at one point that Ashley is also a cage fighter. But talk a little bit about your personal life. You went to college. You can talk about wrestling in college. And then what do you do, Ashley?
Yeah, so I wrestled in college and got my business and accounting degree there. And then after that, I was in Arizona for a year, and I wasn't competing. I actually coached a high school team that had girls and boys on it. So that was a really awesome experience. But throughout that experience, I also just kind of felt like coaching wasn't enough at that point in my life, and that I wasn't really done being an athlete. So around last March, I decided, all right, let's give this MMA thing a go. So it's also kind of cool that I'm fighting in March. It's been about like a year since I made the decision to fight. But yeah, I came back to Michigan in July, started training at SFS. And now my day-to-day kind of looks like waking up. I usually go to the gym in the morning, hit the weights, do a little bit of cardio there. And then my day is I work for Chick-fil-A. And I do some accounting and like customer service stuff for them. So, and I get to work from home, which is super nice. Gives me a little bit more rest and a little bit more of a flexible schedule for training, which is super nice. And then usually towards the end of the day, around 5:30, start pack up my stuff, head over to SFS, and then get my training in the evening done.
So one thing that is kind of unique about this gym is we have an army of women. We have so many girls that are training here. And I'm telling you what, we've said it a couple of times, but we have some destroyers coming up on the female side. What is it like to have so many female training partners as a woman who has always been used to almost all your career has been just having to train with the men? What has that done for your ability to grow as an athlete and fighter?
It's been amazing. Leaving college, obviously I was on an all-women's team there, and it was so nice to have like that sisterhood, and just feel like I was in a family. And then being in Arizona, not having that was a real struggle for me, and it was really hard for me to make friends because I always made friends like through wrestling or working out. And so coming into this environment, it was so easy just to have like that family feel with the girls, and we just push each other. And we hang out outside of SFS sometimes, which is also really nice. And we all just kind of understand our lifestyle, which a lot of other people don't, just because everything is kind of focused around fighting. So it's really nice. I kind of told myself earlier coming in that I didn't know how long I'd be at SFS because, don't want to stay in Michigan too long. But honestly, it's really hard to want to leave this environment.
So let's talk about the actual details of the fight now. You gave the date, you gave the venue, but let's talk about your opponent, what you know about her. I mean, there doesn't have to be a lot. Obviously, she's newer to MMA. She has one fight. Give us, your kind of thoughts on the opponent, thoughts on the fight, and then just the details for the people that might want to be there or watch it live.
Yeah. So like James said, she's had one fight. I don't believe she has much of a grappling wrestling background. Um, much of a striking background either. I know that she's also a white belt in jiu-jitsu, like I am as well. So I think it's going to be a really good fight. I feel pretty good about it. I'm just really excited to showcase like what I've really been working on. But yeah, the fight is March 3rd at the Cotton Eye Joe in Knoxville. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be an online pay-per-view link so that people that can't be there, they can watch it through that. And like you said, you're only a year into mixed martial arts. You're less than a year, really. You're like 9 months into your training, but you got your wrestling background. Your opponent is huge into fitness. She competes in CrossFit. It looks like she does a bunch of, like those Tough Mudders, and she's an athlete. And and the girl she fought in her debut is now 4-1, who is a stud. She's running through people. And, she went to the second round with her. So she's a tough girl, but we know you're bringing the intensity. Anyone that's wrestled, you're just built a little bit different if you can survive wrestling, especially a college wrestling room.
For sure.
So just, Ashley, anything else you want to say on the video? Any people you'd like to thank? Anything you'd like to say to family or friends? Or like, hopefully your, former teammates from Cumberlands can make the trip down. Just anything you'd like to say on the video, go ahead and do that, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
I'm just super thankful for everyone that supports me. My mom, for sure, she does so much for me, always helps out at home and just helping me get things done outside of training. Obviously, my coaches here at SFS, especially James, for just encouraging me so much and always uplifting my spirits. I also want to thank the coaches I've had in the past that have helped me get to this point. And I also want to thank James and Dark Shield Media, my sponsor. So just super excited for all that support, and I'm ready to fight.
Well, let's go. March 3rd. And we didn't even mention you have a teammate on the card. It's not fully confirmed yet. We're not going to drop those details yet, but it sounds like we're going to have multiple SFS girls down there on Friday. And then we got Kate and Fallon on Saturday in South Carolina. What a weekend. So Ashley, thank you for sitting down and going over this. And I hope that everybody tunes in or is willing to make the road trip down with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks.